Hey there, everybody, and welcome back. How's it going today? You know, I've had a few thoughts lately. Go figure, right? I try to give myself time to think instead of drowning myself out with constant distractions, looking at my phone, watching a show, looking at YouTube, reading the news, whatever it might be. I give myself time to process life. And often I come up with some of the ideas that really stick in the most mundane of places. It's not when I'm making an effort or focusing, it's when I'm just walking through the grocery store. And as I was leaving the grocery store a moment ago, and I'm waiting for my son to get out of karate, and I was thinking about this idea of a bucket list, and instantly popped into my head that instead of a bucket list, maybe we should focus more on a fucket list. And it kind of stuck, and I really wanted to share it before it just became another fleeting thought, flapping like the pages of a newspaper against a chain link fence in the breeze, soon to be wet and blown through and lost to time forever. A fucket list. What is a fucket list? Well, a bucket list is obviously based on kicking the bucket, and any maybe the 5 people out there who've never heard of the term, probably younger people more than older people. No offense, but just because as you get older, you start thinking, what's on your bucket list? You start hearing this term more and more. And I've realized I don't have one. And I thought, how much more important is it to have a fuck it list based on fuck it? I don't need to climb a goddamn mountain to prove that I'm a man or that I can endure the outdoors. It was the first thing that came into my mind because usually on a bucket list are things that people want to do that they've never done, like skydive, maybe go on a long hike. It could be something simple like going out to see an old friend. But it's a list of things people want to accomplish before they die. And I think, eh, shit happens, shit doesn't happen. I don't really have a list of things I need to do. I feel very comfortable and confident in the fact that I'm a human being, I'm living this life. I will have some regrets, I'll have some wins, some losses, happiness, sadness. It's just the way life is. And I feel like a bucket list is more based on the idea that we feel like we haven't accomplished enough, or there are things that we have to accomplish. And the reason I used climbing a mountain as the first one was because of how ridiculous to me it is that people go and climb Mount Everest in the modern day. Like, it has got to be the most self-aggrandizing, wasteful, ignorant thing a person could do. And I know there's people out there who probably want to climb Everest, but anyone who really wants to climb Everest should be well aware of all the garbage that's left behind. And we're not just talking a few rappers. We're saying entire little, tent cities pop up and they just leave them there. Little base camps people set up, sleeping bags, all kinds of crap. Whatever people don't want to carry down the mountain is just thrown to the side. And this is because you get very little time at the top of the mountain and you're exhausted. And there are lines. If you've ever seen the line going up to the top of Everest, I've seen lines of like 100 people just waiting to get their moment to take a picture of themselves on the top of the mountain and come back down. And the reason I use that example is because it seems like something so, you know, maybe something so cherished that you can show what you can do, that you can climb this mountain, and then you get there and you see the reality of it. So anyone who still wants to climb Everest, knowing the reality of actually what it means to get up there, it's just stupid. Nobody can climb it themselves. They always have Sherpas. They need other people to haul their gear. It's just a silly thing to have on a list. Now, that's my opinion. If that's on your bucket list, I just offended you. Sorry, tough shit. But it is a dumb goal to climb Everest. Climbing a different mountain, a quieter mountain, maybe. But the reason people want to climb Everest is to be the best. I am in the elite team. I've climbed this mountain, the highest mountain. And this is, of course, the extreme example. A lot of other things are, things people want to do to experience it, like skydiving, something everyone else has done, but until you've done it yourself, you can't really know how it feels. Which I think I've spent enough time, talking shit about a bucket list. The fucket list. What do I mean by that? I mean things that you don't. It's getting hot in here. The fucket list is things that you just don't care. You're like, you've processed and said, maybe I don't want to do this, or maybe it's not that important. But it also includes the things that you don't need to worry about in your life anymore. The heartaches, the shortcomings that you've had, the problems that have got you here. So what I'm saying is that a bucket list is, in essence, things that you still really want to do because of the positive value you think that they will have in your memory. Therefore, the fucket list would be the exact opposite, eliminating things that you've already done, which leave a sour taste in your mouth or lead you to dwell on the past, because dwelling on the past is the biggest fucking waste of time that anybody can do. It doesn't mean we can't learn from the past. We can still learn from the things that we've done wrong. We can still learn from the mistakes we and others have made. But so many people sit and dwell on the things they could have done, they should have done, they would have done, or how somebody slighted them, or coming home and complaining to someone else about something that happened to you with a random interaction with a stranger at the checkout, which just doesn't matter. That's one thing to bring it up and say, oh God, I ran into this dude who today was a total asshole, and tell this story. But some people, they tell that story the next week. They'll tell that story a month later. There are some people out there who are so obsessed with feeling like a victim that every single time they leave the house, something's wrong and somebody has slighted them. And letting all this shit go is so important. I can't tell you how many times people have made me feel uncomfortable, or said things or talked down to me in a way that made me just cringe. Hell, my boss right now at work does it. Talks to me like a kid sometimes if he's frustrated, and takes it out on me in a way. And I told him as much. I was like, that's how I feel. And this comes down to, I think, one of the most important keys to being able to complete your fucket list is to be able to let go. Be able to let go of anything you feel that has been done against you, any wrongs that have been committed against you. There are people who dwell on things that happened to them 20 years ago by somebody that they'll never even see again. But there are even people who take it to the extreme. There are people who dwell on what happened to their fucking ancestors. Now, look at how bad things have got right now. I don't think I need to explain to anyone out there what I'm talking about. But let's say I've been accused of being a racist myself, just because I happen to be white, because I said something about Native Americans, or whatever it might be, because somebody's ancestors had an issue with somebody else's ancestors. But the point here is that people play the victim constantly. If they can't play the victim for their own lives, they play it for their ancestors' lives, or for somebody else on somebody else's behalf, become a social justice warrior. This is human nature, to fight against injustices. And fighting against injustices to other people is understandable. People want to stick up for their fellow man. But sticking up for yourself and your own true injustices that you've actually endured is, I think, the most crucial. Because often what we think is injustice is really just the illusion of how other people think. So the point to this is, on my fuck it list, is I say fuck it to anybody who thinks that anything that anyone's ancestors did has any bearing on today, and me as an individual, or you as an individual. Letting go of other people's upset nature about their own lives. This becomes, for me, I think that the most crucial aspect to this is setting boundaries, and it's one of the hardest things for people to do. And setting boundaries for me means telling people exactly where I stand. If I feel like somebody is bullshitting me, if I feel like somebody is treating me badly, if I feel like somebody is shorting me, ripping me off, lying to me, I will speak up right away. And I guess often that can offend people because I'm very blunt with these things. But I also have enough tact to know when to step back because I don't want to offend people. I don't want to upset people. I care about people's feelings. I care about, their interests in life as well. But I'm me and I'm trying to take care of my own as well. It's a very difficult place to be. And that's why another thing to add to my fucket list is society in general and the decisions that people make about what's important and what's not. This is one I'm very torn on because as an individual, I don't come across as the way I feel inside. I don't think most of us do. I have a lot of inner thoughts that I can never express in words. And I sometimes think of myself as an asshole. Like I come across as very abrasive and a jerk. And of course I say that to people and they're like, no, you don't. Because I'm a pretty outgoing and nice person as far as I'm concerned. But there's part of me that says, maybe I should be doing something else. So perhaps my bucket list is, something, if I had a bucket list, would be it's not the bucket list thing. It's more of, we aspire to be a certain type of person. For example, when I was younger, I really admired the calm, cool, quiet, collected type of man, the stoic man. And I thought that would be a great thing to aspire to be. And I studied, many different Eastern, mysticism and Buddhism and Hinduism and what you might call the mystery schools, which really is just a misnomer. But whatever was out there, I wanted to know it because I wanted to know what the ancestors, the ancients, knew about letting things go. Because being stoic, in a sense, is letting things go. It's not worrying about what you think you should be doing or could be doing, and it's definitely not worrying about what you've already done or how you've been slighted in the past. It's one thing to regret things that you've done wrong in the past, and it's quite another to regret the way you've been treated by someone else. And I think it just goes a little too far with a lot of people. Some people just hang on to bullshit. So, yeah, fuck it. Put it on the fuck it list. Don't let other people's bullshit affect you. And here's the thing, you can decide right now to stop being affected by other people's bullshit. Now, when other people in your personal life, your family, your friends have an issue, it's still going to affect you, and it should. If you lose a friend or if you gain a friend, there's going to be some emotion there. And part of being a human and having family and friends is that you're going to have to give a little of yourself to others. But we still have to live our own lives. It's a very tricky endeavor. Anyhow, I'm starting to overheat now. I had the air conditioner running for a moment, and my car here, it's getting really hot, so I'm getting all sweaty, and I'm about to finish this video up. And so, in essence, to finalize, you can have a bucket list if you want. There's lots of things we'd all like to do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having goals and dreams. But if you don't achieve those dreams, be ready to say fuck it. Don't let what you didn't do, what you could have done, or what you should have done get in the way, because you can change your mind right now and decide to think differently. At least that's how I see it. So I guess I'll turn on my AC now and cool down, because whoo-wee, it's hot. Fuck it.